I want to welcome in Von Miller, again, future Hall of Fame pass rusher, edge rusher, linebacker, defensive end from DeSoto U, started at Denver, Texas A&M legend, now with the Buffalo Bills. What position do you play?
I play defense.
You play
Whatever,
defense.
whatever I need to get the job done, I play defense.
A Dallas native. I just got to start here. Dallas native, uh, leaving Denver, a couple of times in Buffalo. You were a free agent. Was there any contact with the Cowboys or coming home or playing at home?
No, I I mean my first before I went to Buffalo, I talked to the Dallas Cowboys. I think at this point in my career, I pretty much know where I want to be. I know what teams I want to play for. I love the Dallas Cowboys. I always pay attention to the Dallas Cowboys, no matter what team I'm on. I was born and raised here in Dallas, so that's always there. But no, it's not the Dallas Cowboys this time. But who knows what the future might hold?
Oh, so you still got some left, some road left. You got LeBron road left to
Yeah,
play.
I got some more left. I mean, I'm definitely, I'm not at the front of my career or at the middle of my career, but I still got some more years left.
But so you're not even thinking about retiring. It's not even on your mind.
Now, I don't like to say the R word. I got this year for sure. Then, at this point, you just take it, you just take it 1 year at a time. If I have a good season, then we'll play next season. Have a good season, then play next season.
It's interesting, this draft weekend. What do you remember about your draft weekend and all the hoopla and everything that was associated with it? You were going to Denver, the teams call you. How was that whole process for you?
I knew I was supposed to go to the Buffalo Bills. I had already made up in my mind I was going to the Buffalo Bills. And right the night before the draft, it was like some Denver Broncos chatter. And then, draft day came and I got selected by the Denver Broncos at 2. So it was a really enjoyable experience. I had all my family there. My grandmother was there. I had everybody there. My coach from college was there, and it was just an amazing, time. That's when they had it in New York. Got to
Right.
close the stock market that week. It was just an amazing week for sure.
Yeah. So when the draft comes up every year, do you think about that, or you just I'm beyond that. I'm in the league now.
No, I pay attention. I wouldn't say it's not necessarily the draft, but
Mhm.
I pay attention to the upcoming talent. One of
Mhm.
my goals post football career is to be in the front office. Whether that's
Right.
GM, president of a team, head of the scouting department. That's where I want to go. Coaching is just different.
Mhm.
I got a lot of respect for all of these coaches out here. Um, it's a really extreme job. Both of those jobs, being in the front office and coaching, both of those jobs are extreme jobs. But I just think that's more fitting to my skill set is just to go out there and find talent and build teams that look like the teams that I've been on, the Super Bowl teams that I've been on.
It's interesting that you thought Buffalo was going to draft you. You went to Denver, and now you're in Buffalo. Did that play a role with you signing with Buffalo, kind of coming full circle at all?
No, I didn't. I just felt like that's just how it was supposed to be. The universe has an interesting way of making things happen in your life. Nothing in life is about coincidence, and I was always supposed to be in Buffalo, and that's just how it was supposed to be. So I just whatever life has for me, I just take it, full speed on, and just thank God for the good things and the bad things, and just to keep pushing.
Going back to Denver, you just talk about your career there, winning a Super Bowl there, Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, the start of the career there. I mean, again, you put down a Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah, it all started in Denver. John Elway I was his first draft pick. Got to play with Peyton Manning, Tim Tebow, DeMarcus Ware, Champ Bailey, Brian Dawkins, um, Derek Wolf, Chris Harris, Akeem Talib, so many different players, and it had such an amazing effect on my life on and off the football field. So it was definitely a wonderful time there. 11 years just flew by, and
Mhm.
now I'm going into my 15th year, but I still have a lot of love for Broncos country in Denver, and I always stay there.
You brought up DeMarcus Ware, and certainly that's near and dear to us in Dallas with DeMarcus Ware. What did he mean to you coming there, and how did he impact you, and what did he teach you?
It's interesting. We talk about DeMarcus, and earlier we talked about me. I was supposed to be on the Buffalo Bills. I've been a Dallas Cowboys fan my whole entire life. I've been a
Mhm.
DeMarcus Ware fan my whole entire life. So DeMarcus coming to Denver, that's just how it was supposed to be. And when he was there, his locker was right across from mine. We talked about football sometimes, but most of the
Mhm.
time we talked about family, finances, health, business, his life after football, what he was going to do, the things that he was interested in. And I always paid attention to that with a close ear because I always had the end in mind as well. So he was like a big brother to me. We play golf here in Dallas. I see him all the
Mhm.
time, and that's my guy.
Do you try to do that for younger guys? Is that your role now? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you still can play on the field. Y'all want. I'm not here to be a coach, or I'm here to play and make plays. But is that something that's important to you to try to do?
Yeah, it is. I don't really care about what people say about me, but my teammates and the people that I played with and my
Mhm.
colleagues, I care about that. I care about what those guys say, the guys that I compete with, the guys that I work with. I care what those guys say about me when I'm not in the room. And, working with these young guys is something that's near and dear to my heart. I try to pay that forward. That's what guys did for me, from Champ Bailey,
Mhm.
DeMarcus Ware, Peyton Manning. And when I'm talking to these young guys, I don't necessarily tell them, the stuff that I was doing. I tell them the stuff that I should have been doing, the stuff that I've learned from
Right.
all of those guys around me.
That was interesting. Your talk about what's near dear to your heart, and your Dallas native, DeSoto native, and that DeSoto love is still there. You always come back every year to do your event, your weekend, and we're going to talk about it for a second. But you were the one that kind of, I mean, DeSoto's been a great program, but I would say you're the best, and you're the one who really
Mhm.
set the table nationally for DeSoto and DeSoto U and all the monikers that came, because you guys got a lot of players. Patrick Creighton played there with the Cowboys. A lot of players from DeSoto who want to play in college and NFL.
Yeah, it's like I said, it was way before me. It was way before me.
Right,
You got Tatum Bell, Byron
right.
Haspar, Patrick Creighton, a lot of guys. We have at least 10 to 12 guys go D1 every single year. So
Mhm.
it was a standard way before me. But being there and growing up in DeSoto and going to school in DeSoto is near and dear to my heart. I'm very proud of DeSoto. I bleed green and gold. I love everything about DeSoto. I try to spend as much time as I can here. I still live here in Dallas. We have
Mhm.
our Von Miller Day there every single year, and it's just really a big picnic. Dallas, DeSoto, they gave me a holiday after we run the Super Bowl the first time, and I
Mhm.
just wanted to make it more about the community. I wanted to make it more like a picnic, like a holiday, and that's what Von Miller Day is. We have a lot of food venues out there, and ice cream and snow cones and games and it's really just a picnic for the kids. You can come and hang out. It's tomorrow from 12 to 5
Okay, 12 to 5 tomorrow. Where is it, and what is it
at Zyger
benefiting?
Park. At
Exotic
Zyger
Park.
Park. At Zyger
Okay.
Park, and it's all for the community. Before Von Miller Day, we're having a Von's Vision Day at the high school, and that's where we screen kids
Mhm.
that need contacts or glasses, and that'll be at the high school at 10 a.m.
Okay.
But other than that, the Von Miller Day at Zyger Park is all free. It's all for the community. It's for DeSoto. It's for Dallas. We're just out there
Right.
hanging out.
I got to ask you. I'm a Longhorn. I got to say that I'm a Longhorn.
It's all good.
Why?
We all make mistakes. It's all good.
I'm just saying. Why you go to A&M? What was the little? Come on.
I tell the truth. I wanted to go to Texas. I wanted to go to USC. When I was coming out of high school, Vince Young, Reggie
Yeah.
Bush, they
Mhm.
were in college, and that was like they were winning national championships, going back and forth. That's where I wanted to be. I wanted to go to USC. I wanted to go to Texas. And it's interesting how things work out. Those were the only two schools that didn't offer me. And those are the only two
Wow.
schools out of all the schools worth going to that didn't offer me. Had schools
Was
from.
that Mac Brown? Who was that? Charlie Strong?
Yeah,
They didn't offer you.
that was Mac Brown and Pete Carroll.
Ah,
So
ah, that-
sometimes things just fall through the cracks. And I went to Texas A&M. My dad knew about the Aggie Network, and Texas A&M, they were really one of the only schools that said I was going to play defensive end as well. They was like, we're not going to move you to linebacker. You're going to play
right.
defensive end. You're going to pass rush here. I went there, and then my first year I did rush the
Right.
passer, but then my second year they moved me to linebacker too. So if I
Yeah.
would have,
So
if
they
I would
lied to
have,
you.
if I would have known that, things would have been different. But Texas A&M it's definitely one of the schools. It's definitely one of the decisions in my life, the good decisions that I've made. And I love the Aggies. I love College Station. I was just down there last week for the spring game. I try to spend as much time as I can there at A&M. Try to spend as much time as I can at DeSoto.
Mhm. It's interesting because Myles Garrett followed in your footsteps, and now he's the highest paid defensive end, well, highest paid defender in the NFL.
Non-quarterback, highest paid non-quarterback.
Well, no, the receiver Chase just passed him.
Yeah, they passed him too. He
Yeah,
did.
yeah. So he's not high.
And you got Micah. You got Micah coming too. But
I was getting there.
What's the difference? What's the difference between 40 and 45, 43? It's all the same. It's all the same.
Exactly. When you got your biggest contract, what was it? And can you imagine it's up to 40 now?
Yeah, it's just like the NIL stuff. I didn't get to experience that, but that's the right thing. That's how it should be. Back when I was going through contracts and stuff, 20, 21 million, 22, 25, that was like, now we have 40. And that's and I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man. That's how it should be. These guys, they do so much for their teams and their communities. It's well deserved. And it's not like these guys are just, average in the pack guys. These are the best guys in the NFL, and that's how they should be compensated.
Obviously, you were the premier pass rusher. Do you keep up with other guys? And can you tell me your thoughts on Micah Parsons and his career and what he's done so far?
Yeah, I know. As far as personnel, as far as teams and what teams have, I know everything about that. I might not know the perfect defense to call, perfect offense to call, but as far as talent, I know where everybody's at, and I know what all these teams have. And Micah Parsons is a generational talent. I went to his charity event a couple of weeks ago. He'll be at my event this week, and they got a special relationship with Micah, and it's well deserved. And it's just the price just gets higher and higher the more you wait. And I think Jerry, I think Jerry might do that. Jerry might do that on purpose. I think the whole time I think it's just the game that he plays, and but every single time, if you go back to Dez Bryant, he paid Dez. He played the long game with Dak Prescott. He paid Dak Prescott. Played. I think he paid Tyron Smith early. That was really one of the few ones where he paid Tyron Smith early. But as far as like the other stars, he drag it out, but at the end of the day, he always pays these guys. He always takes care of them. Dak Prescott broke his leg, and Jerry still take care of Dak Prescott. So I think that's just how he does business, and he's doing that with Micah Parsons now. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Micah Parsons will be the highest paid non-quarterback, and I don't think it'll be by a little bit. Chase, whatever it is by Chase, I don't think he just beat Chase by 200,000. It'll be a couple million. That he'll beat those guys by, and that's just how it should be. He's a generational talent. That whole team, not just the defense, but that whole team is really centered around Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott.
He gets so much criticism for his podcast. What do you think about that? The podcast during the season, that's the new generation. A lot of people have podcasts, but he gets so much criticism here about his podcast. Is that a distraction for the teammates? Is that a lack of leadership? How do you look at it as a veteran?
No, I don't think it's a distraction at all. I mean, it's 2025. He can do it on his Instagram. He can do whatever. Like it's Bleacher Report. They're taking care of him. They give him a platform to be able to speak his opinion, and he has that platform because people want to hear what he says, whether they like it or not. They still want to hear it. And at the end of the day, it's just media. It has nothing to do with what you do on the football field. It has nothing to do with how you play in the game. It's just you talking, and you are creating an audience to be able to benefit from a monetary standpoint from that. It's just a podcast. It's the same thing that everybody else does. It's the same talk that we all talk in the locker room or in the car driving to work, or we just hanging out with our boys. It's the exact same talk as that. It's just, in the NFL, if you win, if you lose, they just hang so much on that. So if he has a hot take on his podcast and they lose the game, then they make a big deal out about it. If he has a hot take and they win the game, then nobody says nothing about it. But that's just how the world is. But I don't think there's anything wrong with his podcast and what he's doing.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to pop by your big day on Saturday before I go to the draft in Frisco. Again, thank you for your time, and hopefully we'll be talking again.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.